Why? So let's unpack this. If you want to play rock, punk, heavy metal,
Really, any music that's loud.
exactly, any music that demands volume and, real sonic weight, there is one non-negotiable building block. It's the foundation for almost every loud, aggressive song you've ever heard.
Hmm.
We're diving into the simplest, strongest, and maybe the most important shape on the guitar, the power chord.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to define what it is, why it sounds so powerful in a way that other chords just don't, and how mastering this one shape unlocks hundreds of songs for you immediately.
And what's so fascinating is how that simplicity creates such an incredible intensity. A power chord is, it's defined by what it's missing as much as what it has.
Right.
Technically, it's just two different notes. The root note and the note that's 5 steps up the scale from it. We call that the fifth.
Just those two notes. And I love the shorthand musicians have for it.
The 5 chord.
Yeah, the 5 chord, because of that fifth, it's why you see it written down as like C5 or G5. It's like a little code telling you to strip the chord down to its strongest parts.
Precisely. And the key thing, the reason it sounds so neutral and works so well with loud amps, is because it's deliberately missing the third note.
The third.
In standard music, the third is what gives a chord its color. A major third makes it sound happy. A minor third makes it sound sad or, dramatic.
So by just skipping that note, you're getting rid of all that emotional baggage.
You are. The power chord becomes ambiguous. It's not major, it's not minor, it's just solid. And this is so important for modern music where you're not always in a simple major or minor key.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah, if you're playing a complex riff, a full major chord might clash with what the bass is doing. A power chord just provides rhythm and power without fighting everything else.
That's the deep insight right there. It's not just strong, it's flexible because it doesn't commit. So, okay, let's talk about actually building this thing. What's the structure in terms of like distance on the guitar?
It's so simple. You take your first note of any scale, that's your root, and then you add the note that is 7 semitones above it.
7 frets.
Exactly. 7 frets on the guitar. That distance is called a perfect fifth.
And why do we call it perfect? That term comes up a lot in music.
Well, it's all about physics, really. The perfect fifth is the most stable interval you can have other than an octave. The sound waves of the two notes exist in this really clean 3-to-2 ratio.
A mathematical relationship.
Yeah. If your root note vibrates at, say, 100 hertz, the fifth vibrates at 150. That clean ratio means the waves overlap really smoothly. It minimizes any clashing, which is what gives it that incredible sonic stability.
And stability is everything when you start cranking up the volume. That's why it doesn't sound messy.
Absolutely. Now, while the chord definition is just those two notes, the root and the fifth,
Right.
most guitarists actually play a 3-note version. They add the root note again, but 1 octave higher.
So it's the same note, just higher up.
The exact same pitch class.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the name of the chord. C5 is still C5.
It just makes it sound thicker.
Beefier.
Exactly. It fills out the sound, helps it cut through the rest of the band without adding any new notes that could clash.
Okay, let's get into the main reason this chord sounds so massive. It's all about distortion. We're talking about that effect that makes a guitar sound rough, gritty, like it's growling.
And distortion is the sound of modern rock. But there's a problem with it. If you try to play a full major or minor chord, a triad with 3 different notes through a high-gain amp,
It sounds like mush.
it turns into just noise. All those extra harmonics that the distortion creates start clashing with each other. The intervals are just too complex for the circuit to handle cleanly.
And the power chord is the solution.
It's the perfect solution. Because that simple perfect fifth has that clean 3-to-2 ratio, it handles all that distortion so much better. Even with extreme gain, the overtones that get created are still in tune with the chord. You get that clear, thick wall of sound. So the chord is simple, and the amplifier does the hard work of making it sound huge. That clarity is so important. It lets the rhythm of the guitar stand out.
It's why heavy metal and punk are even possible, sonically. And from an engineering perspective, producers love power chords
Why is that?
because their simplicity leaves space in the mix. A distorted full chord would just eat up all the sonic space, and you wouldn't be able to hear the singer or the drums. The power chord anchors the rhythm without cluttering everything up.
That makes total sense. Okay, so we know why it sounds good. Now let's get practical. For a beginner, this is where the magic starts. How do you find this shape? Let's start with just reading the music.
The notation is the key. When you see that letter followed by the number 5, C5, G5, it's an instant instruction. Play the root and the fifth. Skip the third.
And for guitarists, they're not really reading sheet music for this, are they? It's all about tabs.
Yes. Guitar tabs. They show you exactly where to put your fingers. For a C5, for example, the tab might show you to put one finger on the 3rd fret of the A string and another on the 5th fret of the D string.
And once you memorize that relationship root on fret X, 5th on fret X plus 2,
You can play hundreds of songs. It's like a universal language for rock musicians. A shortcut.
Okay, let's talk about the technique. The reason this is such a gift for beginners is that it's just one movable shape.
Absolutely. The basic 2-finger shape is the core skill. You put your index finger on a low string, say the E or A string. That finger's position gives the chord its name. It's your root note.
And then?
Then you use your ring finger, or even better, your pinky, to reach across 2 frets and down 1 string.
So if my index is on the 5th fret of the A string.
Your pinky would be on the 7th fret of the D string. That's your perfect 5th.
And that shape never changes.
It never changes. Because of how the guitar is tuned, that shape stays the same no matter where you are in the neck. Once you learn that one shape, you can slide it up and down and play 12 different chords.
That is so empowering for a new player, but there's a catch, right? There's another skill you have to learn to make it sound clean.
Muting. String muting is critical.
Because you don't want to hear the other string.
Exactly. You only want to hear those 2 or 3 notes. If you're strumming and you accidentally hit the high E string, it'll ruin the sound.
So how do you do that?
You use your fretting hand. A lot of players will use the side of their index finger to just lightly touch the strings next to the one they're fretting. It stops them from ringing out.
So you're not pressing them down, just touching them.
Just enough to mute them. Getting that pressure right is a huge part of practice. It's the difference between sounding clean and sounding sloppy.
It's a subtle skill, and we should probably address the acoustic versus electric thing. You can play these on an acoustic, right?
You can, but they're really designed for an electric guitar. On an acoustic, they just don't have that grit or sustain that distortion gives you. The sound is kind of thin.
And it's harder, physically.
Oh, absolutely. Acoustic strings are thicker, they're higher off the fretboard. It takes a lot more hand strength to press them down cleanly. Plus, the sound of a power chord is really about the interaction between the guitar's pickups and a tube amp. An acoustic just can't do that.
So we have the shape. We know why it sounds big. What does this mean for actually writing songs? How do these chords create those anthems we all know?
They provide the framework. Almost all popular music is built around sequences from a major or minor scale. And the most common one in rock is using the 1st, 4th, and 5th notes of that scale.
The IIVV progression. So if a song is in the key of G, we're talking about G, C, and D.
Correct. The guitarist will play G5, C5, and D5. That simple 3-chord structure just creates this undeniable sense of movement and resolution that our ears are trained to love. It's the recipe for so many famous rock songs.
And that's a great takeaway for anyone starting out. You don't need a ton of music theory to write something that sounds powerful.
Not at all. And because the power chord doesn't have a third, you can use that same IIZV progression, whether the song feels a little more major or a little more minor. It keeps your options open.
Let's talk history, because this chord didn't really exist until technology caught up. We're talking mid-20th century, right?
That's right. Early blues and rock and roll players, they started pushing their small tube amps harder than they were designed to be pushed.
Overdriving them.
Exactly. And they found out pretty quickly that when you turn the volume up, that high, full chords sounded awful. But these simple 2-note fifth intervals sounded incredible, really focused and aggressive.
And there's one famous pioneer for this sound.
Link Wray. He's often credited with one of the first really famous uses of this raw sound on his instrumental track, Rumble, in 1958.
Rumble is legendary. And the story behind that sound is even better.
Oh yeah, the legend is that he didn't just turn up the amp. He actually took a pencil or a screwdriver and poked holes in the speaker cone of his amplifier.
He physically broke it to get the sound he wanted.
That's the story. Whether it's 100% true or not, the point is he was actively looking for that distorted sound. He was paving the way for every punk and metal guitarist that came after him.
That's an incredible image. So then bands in the 60s and 70s, they took that idea and just ran with it.
It completely changed the guitar's role. It went from being a background instrument to being the lead powerhouse. You think of the Kinks or Pete Townsend from The Who just windmilling these huge driving power chords.
And it's so versatile. We think of it for rock and metal, but it's really everywhere.
It's everywhere. Punk music is built on fast power chords. Heavy metal uses them for that thick wall of sound. But even in pop music, you'll hear a power chord in the bass or from a synth. just to add some weight to the chorus.
So, one more essential skill for this. If you want your rhythm to sound really tight, you have to learn palm muting.
Palm muting, yeah. That's the technique of placing the side of your picking hand lightly on the strings, right down by the bridge.
And that gives you that chugga-chugga or machine gun sound.
Right, it's a percussive sound, but its main function is control. It lets you play really fast notes without them all blurring together. By muting the strings a little, you shorten the note and you emphasize that initial attack of the pick.
So it's not just a sound effect, it's a control mechanism.
Precisely. A pro rhythm guitarist is constantly shifting between open, ringing power chords and these tightly muted hits. Learning to control that mute, how much pressure, when to lift off, is just as important as learning the chord shape itself.
It's a delicate balance. So big picture, what are the immediate benefits for a student learning this right now?
It's the ultimate gateway. Power chords give you immediate results. You can play a recognizable song within minutes of practice, and that success is what motivates you to keep going.
And physically, it's way easier than a full bar chord.
Oh, much easier. It's a great way to build up your finger strength and coordination without all the frustration of trying to hold down all 6 strings at once.
Any quick tips for practicing?
Keep your hand in that same fixed shape when you slide between chords. Don't lift your fingers and reform the shape every time. Just slide it.
And release the pressure a little when you slide, right? So you don't get that awful grinding noise.
Absolutely. And the last thing is, use a metronome. Start slow, maybe 60 beats per minute. Focus on being clean and accurate. If you can't play it clean slowly, you'll never play it clean fast.
So what does this all mean? The power chord isn't just noise. It's this essential, simple shape that defined rock history. It solved the physics problem of how to play loud.
And it's still the clearest, most efficient way to play guitar with real intensity. Master this one shape, and you've unlocked the entire language of modern rhythm guitar.
You'll have the main tool used by pretty much every guitarist who wants to make a big, energetic statement.
Now you can go and listen for it. See how many of your favorite songs use this simple, powerful structure.
Good luck with your studies.